In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. Welcome everyone, Blugoblin here. Thank you for joining me for my comic book review for this week of March 2014. Yes, I know April is here, but I am here to review the ending of March. I got a big old pile of books to review here. A couple independents and the rest are DC and Marvel. We're going to start with the independents. We'll start off with Broadsword Comics. We're starting off with Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose, number 85. Oh boy. Now, one thing I must spoil, there's no boobies in this issue. Damn it. Damn it. I want to see some boobies. All joking aside, this actually was pretty good. Tarot gets told about a wishing well that's doing basically the opposite of what it should be. And so she decides to go down into this well. It's all dried up, and she finds out there's a creature down there. And yeah, I can already hear the tentacle hentai jokes coming out here. But this monster grabs a hold of Tarot, and it's like it has this dark magic on it. That it's like once it grabs Tarot, it's like it like almost instantly depresses her, you know, stuff like that. And we get to see help from her cat, from her goblin cat, Puka. I almost forgot about Puka. But Puka comes in to help her out, and it almost gets him killed. Yeah, it almost gets him killed. And when she sees Puka's wing get broken, all I'm going to say is that what Tarot does in here to this creature, I almost want to say Tarot basically pulls a Gohan. Remember the shit Gohan used to do when he was a kid in Dragon Ball Z when you pissed him off? Yeah, Tarot basically goes Gohan on this creature, and it's really impressive looking. Very nicely done. Good storytelling. It was what it was. The artwork, of course, is really good. You know, despite the fact that we didn't get any of that gratuitous nudity that we are so accustomed to in Tarot, this is still a really good read, a fun read. It's pure fun. This series, I don't think this series is meant to be taken super seriously. This series is meant purely for fun, and I love it. You know, Jim Bell and Holly Golightly, this was really good. I talked about it on Twitter, and Holly Golightly herself favored the tweet. Thank you, Holly, for that. But this was really good. I enjoyed it. Moving on to Dynamite, we got Legends of Red Sonja number 5. This is the finale to this miniseries. We got a whole bunch of people on here. We got Gail Simone, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Blair Butler. Yeah, remember Blair Butler? And the artwork from Jack Jadson, Valentine DeLandro, and Jim Calafiore. Oh yeah, we got an all-star team on this book. This was actually really, really good. I liked the first story, and let me see if I can pronounce this word right. The first story was called The Pazryk. P-A-Z-Y-R-Y-K. Pazryk. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but it sounds cool. Pazryk. Pazryk. I just like that name. I just like that word. It just sounds funny. That's a funny word. But the Pazryk story is really short. Blair Butler writes it, I think. Yeah. It's really short. It's told from the perspective of the Pazryk. You know, he witnesses his mother's death, and he goes out for vengeance, but then he becomes accustomed to killing. He kills and kills and kills. And one of the last things he sees is Red Sonja's sword coming right at him, you know. And it's just to see what Red Sonja did to him. Yeesh. And then the second story deals with the Grey Riders, they're continuing their hunt for Sonja, and they come across these people who consider themselves actors and entertainers, everything. But I gotta read what the fat guy says when he. Oh God! I just saw something I didn't want to see again, and he's like. Frottage phrase and the Garcons produce players at your service, gentlemen and bitches. That was good. Then we see the fat man, like I just said, the fat man does something here I didn't want to see. I don't care to see it again. That's why I'm keeping the book closed, because but they give tips on how to find someone, but they don't directly say the names, but little do they know the Grey Riders have been set up. And I know I'm spoiling the hell out of this, but I kind of feel like I have to, because this, how else can you explain it? I really liked the way the issue ends. I was thinking the issue was going to end with an all-out battle with victory for Red Sonja. Not necessarily. But I did like the way the book and the miniseries ended. I'm like, the way this story ends, I kind of feel like it's one of those endings where, like, the book is basically asking the reader, what do you think the ending should be? Use your imagination. That's the kind of ending I saw on there. And you know what? God damn it, I'm fine with that. Very nicely done. A clever way to end the story. You don't know exactly what happens, but why should you care? Because you know who ultimately is going to win the battle. Simple as that. Very well done. A nice swerve and good storytelling from the other women who worked on this, as well as Kelly Sue DeConnick and Blair Butler. And of course, dear lady Gail Simone. I love you, Gail. You're a great writer. This was really good. Alright, we're moving on to DC. Starting DC off with Aquaman number 29. From the depths, a god rises. I didn't know what to think about that cover. But Jeff Parker does a good job with the writing. Paul Pelletier does some really good stuff with the art. And the artwork and the colors. The artwork and the colors match the action. The colors pop. It adds to the action. It adds to the storytelling. I don't usually harp on about the colors, but for this particular issue, I kind of feel like I have to. Very well done. Arthur and Mara. Arthur's got his hands full, because he's got to deal with that archaeologist who got a hold of Arthur's trident and apparently has found out they could be used as a key to open a portal. Now, they're thinking, him and his team are thinking that the trident will unlock a portal to Atlantis. Nope, not quite. That's as far as I'll go with that. Arthur's also at odds with the Royal Council down in Atlantis. They think he hardly ever shows up. He's not showing much respect for it, but he's trying. He really is trying. But Mara's willing to go there and speak for him and speak on behalf of him. She has the right to. She did her research and found out that she does have the right to speak for him and gather information for him if he can't show up. And I'll always say this. Mara is fucking sexy. Ow! I love it. I love me some Mira. Show me some more Mira. But with Arthur, oh God, he's got his hands full with these creatures that come out of this portal. And they call themselves, I believe they call themselves the Giant Born. And, Arthur's trying his best to hold them off while the archaeologists can go back and get the trident. And then this guy on the cover here rises up from the portal. And I'm thinking, okay, this could be something good. And goddamn, we get to the cliffhanger. We find out who this big guy is. Woo. 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 Ooh, DC. Woo. Woo. Ooh. Ooh. Moving on to Batman the Dark Knight, number 29. Excuse me. I'm going to be really sad to see this series go. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Batman the Dark Knight, to me, has been a much better read than the regular Batman series. Hashtag 0 year sucks. But the thing about this particular issue that I have to point out first is that, Greg Hurwitz does a really good job on the writing. Despite Batman telling a corny joke in here, it didn't make me laugh. Jorge Lucas does most of the artwork for this issue. We start this issue off with Ethan Van Sciver's art, and then we go to Lucas's art. And no disrespect to Lucas, Lucas's art is good, and his artwork matches this kind of storytelling. But when you compare Lucas's art to Van Sciver's art, it's like taking a slight step down instead of a slight step up. That's just how I see it. I gotta be brutally honest. However, with that being said, Lucas's artwork does work for this kind of storytelling. It really does, especially when you're dealing with something like the Man-Bat stuff, which has been simply phenomenal when it comes to story, when it comes to action and drama. The Man-Bat stuff has been some of my favorite stuff out of Batman in the New 52. Right up there with stuff from the Mad Hatter and stuff with the Joker. It's just really, really good stuff. Bruce tracks down, he goes to confront Abraham Langston, Kirk Langstrom's father. Langston. But he goes to Abraham Langston. And this guy is a first-class dick. I mean, he is just a dick. I mean, hell, this guy would probably get along really well with my Earth 2 counterpart. But the thing is, with Abraham being the Man-Bat, he is a much more deadly Man-Bat than Kirk was. And, Bruce is telling him, it's like, one of these days, you're gonna slip, and I will get you. He basically says something like that. And Langstrom is so... He's so cocky. He's so arrogant. He's like, he honestly believes he's untouchable, and you just want to reach through the panel and just grab him by the fucking throat and just go, you motherfucker, And it's really good when a villain is done that way. But because God forbid your villain looks like an underdog, right, WWE? But let's see, where was I? So Abraham, he injects himself, he becomes Man-Bat again. And there's something that Bruce points out to Abraham early on in the book about one of the places that's been victimized here lately. And Batman, being the detective that he is, catches Abraham right in the act of doing what he does. But since he can't inject the antidote into Langston's body, because his hide is so thick it'll snap a needle in half, Batman does something that is damn risky. Damn risky. And I dare not want to spoil what he does, but he gets the job done, and he cures Langston of the Man-Bat formula. But when it comes to Langston, he goes on trial. And all I can say is money talks and bullshit walks. But I did like how Batman figured out how to beat him. Very risky, very ballsy, yet also a little bit stupid, because it could have killed him. But it's Batman. He's not supposed to die, because we're DC Comics. We're Batman's biggest fans. Oh, we love Batman. Oh, we love Batman more than the fans do. Ah! Bottom line, this is what it is. This was what it was. It was a great conclusion to the Abraham Langston Man-Bat storyline. Fantastic stuff. I really loved it. Moving on to Flash, number 29. A race with death to save his mother's life. First of all, bullshit advertisement on the cover. I actually thought, are they going to do what spawned the New 52 to begin with? Is Flash going to go back in time and save his mother? No, that doesn't happen. What happens is Flash finds a way to capture the spirit that's been possessing everybody and killing people. And I liked how he does this. And he's working with Deadman. This is good detective style storytelling for Flash. I mean, we get to see Flash use his police detective skills, to figure out how to get a hold of this spirit and how to capture him. This was a quick read. No pun intended to the title, The Flash. It's a quick read. But it really did. It felt like a fast read, and I got through it. I was like, I'm already done. But it was a good read. It was a good issue. But what I will say is that we get a reveal about Barry's heritage that may or may not be true. I'm not gonna spoil that. But the ending, oh God, the ending bugged me for one reason. The ending was more of an implication of what's to come. Because DC did a really good job with the ending of this issue, making me think, oh God, don't you fucking dare, DC. Don't you fucking dare. There's a comment at the end of this book that suggests that somebody knows who really killed Barry's mother. And there's a distinct God, I don't even know how to go through this without spoiling it. But there's a distinct part of the page in terms of the artwork that suggests who Barry's mother's killer might be. DC, I'm begging you. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare go there. You better not follow through with what you implied at the end of this goddamn book. Because if you actually have the balls to go there, I'm done. I am done if you go there. Trust me, a fuck you is going to be the least of what you're going to get if you go there. Don't you fucking dare do it, DC. I'm not just begging you. I'm demanding it. Don't you fucking dare. Moving along to Red Lanterns number 29. Charles Soule and Alessandro Vitti. Probably butcher those names, and I'm sorry. It's another part of the Red Daughter of Krypton. I tried to read Supergirl when it started, and I got out of it. By the time I got to like issue 21 or 22, something like that, I got out of it. I tried to keep up with Wonder Woman. I got out of it. But with Kara being a Red Lantern, I might jump back on board with Supergirl and read the issues and find out what's going on over there. But this was a really good book. One thing I got to point out here first is I don't know how well the cameras can pick it up. What the fuck? I should have pointed this out a long time ago, but is Guy Gardner trying to be Hulk Hogan with that fucking mustache? Other than that, this was actually pretty good. Guy takes his group of Reds to Earth to do some patrolling and everything. Yeah, patrolling. That's the excuse he gives. And then come across old Big Blue himself, Superman. They come across Superman somewhere in Indonesia. And this is where we have a big confrontation between Kara, Superman, and the Red Lanterns. Because Kara is told here. Kara finds out for the first time she can't take her ring off. The ring is bonded with her forever. Unless a Blue Lantern can come along and purge her of the fire that is in that ring. Because if she takes the ring off, it'll kill her. And you thought Taro pulled a Gohan? Kara pulls a Gohan. I don't know. I don't know if Kara pulls a Gohan. I think Kara pulls more of a Vegeta when she finds out the truth about her ring. But this was really good. You know, Superman and Guy talk about this. And they talk about Kara being on the Red Lanterns. You know, Superman even tells Guy, it's like, Hal Jordan told me a lot about you, but he said nothing good about it. But I'm one of those kinds of guys who calls it like I see it. And for right now, I do trust you. I'll trust you with this. But I'm just going to let you know I'm going to be watching you. And, you know, he basically tells him, keep Kara under watch, and as long as she's with you, try to be better. And, you know, Guy says some smart-ass remarks, and he tells Superman, you know what, Superman? I tell myself something like that every damn day. And they're going back to Yzmalt, their planet. They notice a big hole in the ground. They think, oh, it could have been a meteorite. So they go to examine this hole, and I'm not going to spoil what they find. This was good. This is a really good series. I don't know what the sales numbers are for Red Lanterns, and I'm not claiming to know. But what I will say is that this is a very highly underrated series from DC. It is really difficult to find other reviewers on the internet, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. It is really hard to find other people who will genuinely review this series and not just look at it and go, oh, it's Red Lanterns. It was good. Yeah, it was alright. You know, something like that. Or they'll go, this issue was bad. I didn't like it. Blah. Or they'll say, this was alright. I think you should pick it up. I would love to see other people genuinely review this issue, describe why they like it or why they don't like it, because I like it. It is really good. This is also one of the series that my girlfriend has been getting, and she loves it as well. This is really good stuff. I want to hear some more love or some more hate. I don't care. I want to hear more opinions about series like this, like Red Lanterns. It is really good, in my opinion. Alright, we're moving on to Marvel, starting off with all new X Factor number 5. Hello, Warlock. Hello, spoiler to what's inside the goddamn book. Yeah, if you close your eyes, don't look at the cover, and just then open the book and then start reading, you'll never know who appears in the book. But, yeah, it's Warlock. Warlock appears in here, and so does someone else. The Magus. Oh, that's Magus. That's Warlock. Oh boy, do they appear in this issue? That's one of my biggest gripes with the comic books sometimes. It's not just this. It's other comic books in general. You know, it's like you see somebody on the cover, and then you see them get a big reveal in the issue like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have seen that coming if I hadn't have seen them on the cover. I'm just nitpicking there. But this was actually pretty good. It starts off very awkwardly with Gambit and Danger. To me, the most entertaining part of this book was Danger. Danger is abrupt and straightforward to the point. She doesn't keep her mouth shut. You know, she'll even go up to somebody and it's like, that man's DNA is on you, and the only way it's possible is if you were intimate with him. TMI! You know, and it's just, some of the stuff that Danger says in here, you know, you got to think, oh, she's a robot. She shouldn't have, she doesn't know anything about tactfulness and stuff like that. But it's entertaining stuff. It puts some humor in what I think Marvel wants to be taken really seriously. You know, Magus tries to slip in through a clever disguise that only Danger sees through, and then thus Magus and Warlock show up, and all hell breaks loose. And X-Factor comes to the realization that there's only one person that they know of who can deal with this, and I'm not going to spoil who it is, even though you probably already know. But this is really good. This was not the strongest issue out of this series, but it's Peter David, it's X-Factor. Peter David knows how to write X-Factor, and he knows how to give us those styles of cliffhangers that he's so identifiable with. I honestly feel, though, that the cliffhanger in this issue was probably one of the weaker ones he's done so far, but give the guy credit. He just came back from a stroke. I mean, he just came back from a stroke, and he's still writing pretty damn good, so I gotta give him respect for that. This is really good stuff. I actually enjoyed this. It wasn't one of the strongest issues out of the series, I'll admit that, but for what I got, I was entertained. I was satisfied. It was good. Amazing X-Men number 5. This is the conclusion to the Hunt for Nightcrawler story. I'm not going to say that much about this because this was really fucking good. And this was a nicely told cliffhanger. Conclusion, excuse me. Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness. I gotta say, Ed McGuinness's artwork continues to get better. It's getting better. And I like that Nightcrawler's back, but I noticed is like, I think I've said this before. What was the costume? Remember the costume he died in? That costume was completely different from what we see now. Because he died in one costume and now he's back in what I call the Claremont look. Or the John Byrne look, or whatever you want to call it. But who the fuck cares what costume he's wearing? The bottom line is Nightcrawler is officially back from the dead. That's one thing I will spoil. But it came with a price. What is that price? I ain't telling you. You gotta read this book and find out for yourself. Kurt's return from the land of the dead, it did come with a heavy price. Very heavy price. And I also liked how they dealt with Azazel. Kind of makes me think that we may see this motherfucker again here in the near future. But, I mean, just to see the dynamic relationship between all these members of the X-Men, to see them all just click like days of yesteryear, it was just so well done. Fantastic stuff. The action was good. The artwork was great. I'm so glad to see Kurt back on the team. I've always been a mark for Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite X-Men of all time. He is easily in my top 10. Could be in my top 5. Yeah, he is up there with my favorite X-Men. And this was really good. Fantastic stuff. And I'm really looking forward to the Nightcrawler series with Mr. Claremont, as I call him, Mr. X-Men. Am I getting the Nightcrawler series? You damn skippy I am. I put that shit on my pull list over at Arkham Comics. I'm ready for it. This was good. Moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy number 13. This is part 6 of the trial of Jean Grey. This is the conclusion of that story. I gotta say, I was not as impressed as I thought I was going to be when I read this, because Jean, the young Jean, does something in here that I don't know if old Jean was able to do, but I'm glad that everybody's smartened up to the fact that the Gladiator did kill her family because he feared that the Phoenix runs in her bloodline or some shit like that. I guess that's I'm thinking that's the bullshit explanation they gave for him killing Jean's family and everything. But I love the dialogue between all the characters. The action in here was really good. But the artwork in here was fantastic. And like I said, I don't usually harp on colors that much, but the colors in here really popped really well in here. But I don't know. I didn't buy Jean being able to do what she did in here at such a young age. She's still technically a rookie with her powers, and I'm like, I just didn't I didn't completely buy it, even though it was a nice conclusion to the story. Very nice conclusion to the story. I also understand why they truly did the ending that they did with Cyclops, young Cyclops. But, you know, of course, they're doing that to promote the Cyclops ongoing that they're going to do. But, yeah, with Cyclops wanting to go away, minor spoiler, Cyclops wants to go out into space with his father. I get that. But I like the last panel on the book because there's an emotional moment that doesn't need any dialogue to be told, to help tell it, and I thought it was really well done. This was a satisfying conclusion to the Trial of Jean Grey story. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It was what it was, and I did enjoy it. We're going to end this review with the Superior Spider-Man number 30. And before you ask, no, I still have not read the goddamn annual. I'm still not prepared to shell out $5 on what I think could be a disappointment. But I did read this. Oh, wow. Part 4 of Goblin Nation. This is the penultimate issue of Superior Spider-Man. The next issue will be the finale to not only the storyline, but to this series. And all I gotta say about this is, woo, this was really good. This was actually really, really good. There's two things I want to say to Doc Ock. Number one, you did the right thing. And number two, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, motherfucker. This was good. I'd probably just spoil the ever-loving hell out of it on what I just said. I don't fucking care. This was a great read. Fantastically done. At the same time, it's one of those moments where I hate to see you go, but I'm going to love to fucking watch you leave. Get the fuck out of here, Ock. It's time to bring in the real man. Oh, fucking yeah. This was a good read. Fantastically done. But at the same time, while Ock does what he knows now that he has to do, Doc Ock does make a huge sacrifice in this book. And I'm not going to spoil what that was. But I love that Ock finally admitted Peter Parker truly was the better Spider-Man, the more superior Spider-Man. Doc Ock finally realized what we have known all along. When it comes to him being Spider-Man, Ock was a failure. Nicely done. This was awesome. Oh, and it comes with Black Widow number 1, which I glanced through it, and I thought it was pretty good too, but the focus should be on Spider-Man. It's going to be kind of weird to see the final issue of Superior Spider-Man starring the Amazing Spider-Man, but who knows? The next issue might be really damn good. I'm just ready to see Peter Parker versus Green Goblin one more time. But there's something in here that makes me question something about the Green Goblin. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment in here that really honestly made me question, is the Green Goblin truly who he says he is? Think about this. Who is really under that mask? Is it Norman Osborn? Or is it someone else? There was a little tease, a very little one, but there was a little tease in here with a certain someone holding a mask that I couldn't help but notice. I don't know. This could have been just that, a tease. But I'm just looking forward to seeing the Amazing Spider-Man going head-to-head with the Green Goblin one more time. Because that's been, when it comes to the Spider-Man mythos, that has been my favorite, absolute favorite rivalry. Spidey and the Goblin. Nothing else measures up. With a close second being Spidey and Venom. But to me, the ultimate arch rival of Spider-Man is the Green Goblin. I'm looking forward to the conclusion. I really am. Because we're going to get that fight, hopefully, one more time. Because it's one of those rivalries that competes with Batman versus the Joker, a Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon, a Hulk Hogan versus a Roddy Piper. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. A Captain America versus a Red Skull. I'm just really looking forward to it. This was good, but I'm hoping the conclusion will be better. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all appreciated this review. Please subscribe to this channel. Don't forget my Blugoblin X channel, where I've been doing some Midtown comic stashes, thanks to my bro, TheMtVernonKid. Go check out some reviews on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. I finally got around to reviewing Cataclysm. I hope you go check that out, as well as my review of Cataclysm's tie into Ultimate X-Men. Don't forget my channel with my girlfriend, Arkham Asylum Studio. Don't forget Mark and Chloe at Fast Stack of Comics. And don't forget Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. And of course, I can't forget my old buddies Deadpoolzilla and Brandon Hex. Thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.